N'Golo Kante is fine and available after fainting in training last week. Bakayoko returns from injury, and for Crystal Palace, Zaha might also return from injury much sooner than expected in time to face Chelsea. To find out more about that and a lot more, make sure you do watch the whole video. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea from a preview of the Chelsea versus Crystal Palace game taking place tomorrow on Saturday at 5:30 PM UK time at Stamford Bridge. And before getting straight into it, I'm not sure if you can tell that my voice is a bit croaky. I'm a little bit ill at the moment, should all be fine, just a little bit of a cold, but yeah, that's my voice might sound a little bit different than usual. But getting straight into it and speaking about our opposition Crystal Palace. They currently sit in 18th with 27 points from 29 games, with 6 wins, 9 draws and 14 defeats, scoring just 27 but conceding 46 goals. To be honest, they've been on very poor form lately, as they haven't won a single game since beating Burnley on January 13th. But you have to be fair to them and say that they got unlucky some of those games as well. Last Monday, they led Manchester United 2-0 and lost it 3-2 through an injury time screamer by Nemanja Matic. And the week before, they were holding a 0-0 against Spurs until Harry Kane scored the winner from a corner in the 88th minute. So they did get unlucky and probably deserved more than 0 points from both of those games. But nonetheless, recently their form and their results haven't been good at all. Also, last time we played them back in October, that was the 8th Premier League game of the season. Palace hadn't secured a single point at that time. Palace hadn't even scored a single goal in all their previous 7 games. Yet when we faced them at Selhurst Park, they beat us 2-1. So them being on poor form really doesn't make beating them any easier. While losing a game in injury time after being 2-0 up already certainly won't boost your morale, our recent performances and results have been everything but good as well. So it kind of evens itself out, I suppose. Palace kind of is a bit of a bogey team for us these days. Last season they beat us at Stamford Bridge even though we went 1-0 up within the first 5 minutes. And like I said before, they beat us, earlier in the season already. Crystal Palace have had a lot, and I mean a lot, of injury problems this season. Zaha, arguably by far the most important and best player, has been out recently as well. But of course, as soon as they play us, he's back in training. Roy Hodgson did say that they won't rush him back, so it's not guaranteed that he'll make the bench, let alone start. But he always turns up against us. So let's hope he doesn't feature, even though I don't wish injury upon anyone, of course. But I'd rather just sit this one out and play the next game, because he's just always good against us and it's really frustrating. But they also have quite a few other injuries. Mamadou Sakho is out, Bakary Sakho, Scott Dan, Connor Wickham and Jason Puncheon are out. And also Chelsea Loney Loftus-Cheek is injured and actually working on recovery at Cobham with Chelsea, but wouldn't be able to face us anyway. And speaking about dangermen, it's not easy to pick out that dangerman, especially when Zaha isn't fit. Midfielder Luka Milivojevic is their top goal scorer with 7 goals, and both Andros Townsend and Christian Benteke are on 2 goals, but both have 5 assists as well. And Benteke is one of those players that has gotten so close to scoring a fair few, if not so many times this season already. I remember away at Liverpool, he hit the bar when Palace were just 1-0 down at the time. Last week against Manchester United, De Gea pulled off an unbelievable save to keep Benteke out. And he is a good striker, in my opinion there's no denying that. But it hasn't really come off for him so far this season. But knowing our luck, he'll just be at his very best again tomorrow. Recently, they have more often than not gone with a 4-4-2 formation. Back when they beat us in October, they did start with a 4-1-4-1 formation, but didn't have an out-and-out striker on the pitch as Jeffrey Schlupp started up front. But as they didn't last time, I don't think they'll copy our 3 at the back formation to face us this time, as a lot of teams, especially lower down the table, have done so far this season. That's really it about Crystal Palace, and now getting into Antonio Conte's press conference. And starting it off, Conte confirmed that N'Golo Kante is fine. He trained the whole week and he is in good form. Like I explained in Wednesday's Chelsea Weekly, Kante fainted in the dressing room after training on Friday. Conte said the doctors gave him many checkups to understand his physical condition and he was all clear. On Sunday he was actually fine, but we wanted to let him recover properly and just out of precaution really didn't involve him in the game against Manchester City. And in other team news, David Luiz is still out with knee and ankle problems. Reports came out that he'll actually be out for at least another month. And also Ross Barkley is injured, which I find to be a little bit strange because last week Conte said that he has recovered from his hamstring injury that he suffered a few weeks back and hinted that he would at least be on the bench against Manchester City. But then he ended up not being involved at all and now he's injured again. Conte then explained that we have to be patient with him after surgery to the muscle which he obviously had to undergo, and being out for 7 months, it's not easy to recover from little niggles kind of thing. Still doesn't really explain if he picked up another injury or if he actually just wasn't fine last week. I don't know. And Kante said that there are a couple of other situations that he still has to check up on. Bakayoko, for example, who, as you know, has been out for a little while now, was back in full training this week. Whether he will feature or not, Kante didn't say. We'll just have to wait and see about that. But Kante did say that Bakayoko is only 22 years old and has the right personality to become an important player for Chelsea. Hopefully in the present, but for sure in the future is what Kante said. And then the boss hinted that we won't be using a false 9 tomorrow, but rather use either Giroud or Morata. We'll see whether that will turn out to be true, but I truly hope so. Kante said that we are working to bring Morata back to his best physical condition after he struggled with a strange back injury for a good while. And on Giroud, Kante said that he is in good shape and working very well. The boss then also confirmed that John Terry visited training this week. Kante said with a smile on his face that John Terry is always welcome at Chelsea. It's his home. And it was good to see him have a chat, and also for the players it was good to see their old captain again. Kante then also confirmed again how important Terry was last season despite not playing a lot of games. Terry helped Kante a lot in the changing room and he found the right words in the right moment is what Kante explained. And also the boss said that Terry leaving was a big loss for us and that Kante actually tried to convince John Terry of staying, but he wanted to play and therefore joined Aston Villa, and Kante obviously understood and respected that. That was the nip from the press conference, and now speaking about Chelsea. And well, the main question obviously is, will we field our strongest team or will we rotate with the Barcelona game in mind? Kante was asked about this, but he basically just said the standard answer of we have to go game by game kind of thing. So that's not really an answer to that question. Basically, we have to win both of those games. As tough as that might be, especially in Barcelona, we basically just need to win both, really. While a 2-2 draw, for example, on Wednesday would of course be enough, we basically have to beat Palace and get through against Barcelona. It's basically what we need at the moment. But like I said, we all know that it will be very, very difficult. But the most important thing for me is that we have to start a striker. I would start Olivier Giroud, but if Kante has it in mind to start Morata in Barcelona, I would start Morata tomorrow as well, just to give him another game before playing at the Camp Nou. But chances are that Kante will start a false 9 in Barcelona anyway. We won't change from our 3-4-3 formation for tomorrow's game, that's for sure. So let's go with that. Obviously, it's going to be Thibaut Courtois in goal, even though I'm still not all too happy with him. You know, it has to be Courtois in goal, I suppose. The back three, I would leave the same and start the same against Barcelona as well, just to give them more game time, you know, tomorrow and then ahead of the Barcelona game, basically, as a 3 together. Obviously, Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger. I would, though, give both wingbacks a rest. Moses and Alonso have played all of our recent games, and against Barcelona, they will need to be perfect and will need to do a lot of running, and we can't afford them to be tired, really. So I would start Emerson and Zappacosta tomorrow. In midfield, well, Fabregas is a given to start, in my opinion. We need him to break down Palace, basically, in my opinion, anyway. And Kante, well, as I said, according to Kante, he is fine, so you have to expect him to start. Hopefully, he really is completely fine. No doctors have missed anything, because that would just be terrible, really, because Kante is, in my opinion, our most important player. So, you know, we need him to be fine, and hopefully he's fine to play tomorrow and will be fine after the game as well. And then the front three, I mean, Pedro just doesn't deserve to start, in my opinion. He hasn't been very good. And against Palace, the positive that Pedro does bring, his work rate, really shouldn't be what we need. So that's why I just don't think Pedro should start at all. Would a little rest do Hazard and Willian well ahead of the Barcelona game? Probably. But I don't want to see Pedro in this game. So it's got to be Hazard and Willian on the flanks, as, you know, Barkley in theory could play there, is out injured. You know, we don't really have anyone else there. Okay, you could say Karamat's Nodoy, but, you know, I don't think that will happen. So while staying realistic, it kind of has to be Hazard and Willian if I don't want Pedro to play. And as I said before, I would go with Giroud up front. Wouldn't be mad if we started Morata though, and if it doesn't work, bring on Giroud in the 60th minute, but, you know, I would go with Giroud from the start. Palace are very likely to sit deep and play on the counter-attack. And I think if Giroud starts, the wingers have to play close to him so we can get good 1-2 situations inside or just outside the box, from which we can create very good, you know, chances and, you know, just opportunities really. And also, we have to be willing to have a go from distance, in my opinion. Willian, Hazard, Fabregas, and even Drinkwater if he does start. Just got to have a go at times, because if you do that, the defenders can't sit off you that much just to, you know, block the box and surround the box. They just have to come out a little bit to, you know, try and block your shots early so they don't become as dangerous. And, you know, them coming out and trying to block shots might leave spaces in behind them to pass the ball to. So that's why I think we have to, you know, have a shot here and there throughout the game. Obviously with the intention of scoring, but also to maybe force them and get them out of their perfect shape. I mean, I do think that we will win, but it wouldn't surprise me if we got a draw or even lost the game. I'm not even going to give a proper score prediction because, frankly, there's no point at the moment. There's simply no point. It's simply impossible to predict Chelsea. We could be anything from god bloody awful to very, very good. That's really it from me, and you are of course more than welcome to leave me your score predictions down in the comment section below, as well as your predicted lineups, and any other thoughts you have, leave it all down in the comment section below. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video. Don't forget to check out my social media, which is Laos1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, I'd massively appreciate it if you could follow me over there. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to 100% Chelsea. We would massively appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.